7 years. It's been over 7 years since Red Dead Redemption 2 redefined what an open-world game could be. It sold over 61 million copies, won countless awards, and left a permanent horseshoe-shaped mark on the soul of the gaming industry. It was a masterpiece. But with every passing year and every new delay for Grand Theft Auto 6, a single terrifying question echoes louder within the community. Has Rockstar Games abandoned the Wild West? Today, we are not just asking if we'll ever see a Red Dead Redemption 3. We're digging through the evidence, analyzing the timelines, and calculating the odds to figure out when, and if there's even a story left to tell. To understand the anxiety around a potential third game, you have to understand the legacy. Red Dead Redemption in 2010 was a landmark title, giving us the unforgettable story of Jack Marston at the end of the Outlaw era. Then, 8 years later, Rockstar did the impossible. They released a prequel, Red Dead Redemption 2, that was bigger, deeper, and arguably even more emotionally devastating. Arthur Morgan's journey created a connection with players that few games have ever achieved. This series isn't just another franchise. For many, it represents the absolute peak of interactive storytelling, so naturally the desire for another chapter is immense. But the landscape at Rockstar Games has changed. The waits between their games keep getting longer, and the biggest shadow looming over the entire industry right now is the colossus that is Grand Theft Auto 6. Initially announced for 2025, its release was recently narrowed to the fall of that year, but even that isn't certain, with inside reports suggesting the game's development is turbulent and a slip into 2026 is a very real possibility. And with Rockstar's entire focus seemingly on getting their golden goose to market, fans of their other masterpiece have been left to wonder, where does this leave Red Dead? The first and most significant hurdle for Red Dead Redemption 3 is, without a doubt, Grand Theft Auto 6. Rockstar is known for having an all-hands-on-deck approach when a major release is on the horizon. The sheer scale and expectation for GTA 6 mean that the vast majority of the studio's talent and resources are focused on the streets of Leonida. This isn't just speculation, it's the logistical reality of AAA game development. Releasing two universe-sized games like GTA 6 and a potential RDR3 anywhere near each other would be commercial suicide. They would compete for hype, for marketing dollars, and ultimately for players' wallets. Next, let's look at the historical data. The wait between GTA 5 and Red Dead Redemption 2 was 5 years. The wait between Red Dead 2 and GTA 6 will be at least 7. The trend is undeniable, the gaps are getting longer. We know that Red Dead Redemption 2 took a staggering 8 years to create, with development starting almost immediately after the first game shipped. If we apply that same 8-year cycle to a sequel starting after RDR2's 2018 release, that would place RDR3's launch right in 2026. And there's the conflict. That's the exact window that Grand Theft Auto 6 is now likely targeting. It's a direct scheduling clash that, based on Rockstar's history, Red Dead is destined to lose. The development timeline that once seemed plausible is now completely disrupted by the prolonged creation of its modern-day sibling. Finally, there is the deafening silence. Years before GTA 6 was officially revealed, we were bombarded with leaks, rumors, and insider reports. The project was an open secret. For Red Dead Redemption 3, however, there has been nothing. No credible leaks, no hints from developers, no job listings that point to a new Western adventure. In an industry where secrets are currency, the complete lack of information about a third Red Dead is perhaps the most telling fact of all. It strongly suggests that active, full-scale development has not even begun. So, with the facts laid out, let's connect the dots and build a realistic, if painful, timeline. This is where we move beyond what we know and into what it all means. Let's be generous and say GTA 6 hits its fall 2025 window and is relatively stable. History tells us the next major focus will be the next iteration of GTA Online, which will likely roll out in the months following launch. Then comes at least a year or two of critical post-launch support, patches, and likely single-player DLC if they decide to bring that back. Realistically, the bulk of Rockstar Studios won't be free to pivot to a brand new, massive project until 2027 at the absolute earliest. Now let's apply that 8-year development cycle from RDR2. If full development starts in 2027, we are looking at a release date for Red Dead Redemption 3 sometime around 2035. That would mean a 17-year gap between installments. It would be released on the PlayStation 6, and whatever Xbox follows, the Series X, Arthur Morgan would feel less like a memory and more like a figure from ancient history. That is the sobering mathematical reality of the situation. This timeline raises an even bigger question. What story is even left to tell? The most obvious choice is a prequel following a young Dutch van der Linde, exploring the gang's formation and culminating in the infamous Blackwater Massacre. It's what many fans want, but it also risks feeling narratively restrictive since we already know how it all ends for everyone involved. The other option is a sequel, following Jack Marston. But the epilogue of RDR1 takes place in 1914. A full game for Jack would push the series into the era of World War I, with automobiles and machine guns, potentially sacrificing the very Western identity that defines the series. The third and perhaps most interesting path is a completely new story with new characters, set in a different part of the dying West. But there is one potential wildcard in this entire equation: artificial intelligence. A former Rockstar developer has already speculated that development on future titles like GTA 7 could be drastically accelerated by using AI. This is a controversial topic, but it's impossible to ignore. AI could potentially be used to craft more dynamic and unpredictable NPC behaviors, generate vast portions of wilderness with handcrafted detail, or even streamline the tedious bug testing process. If AI could shave, say, 2 or 3 years off that 8-year cycle, suddenly a 2032 release seems more plausible. However, the reliance on AI comes with a heavy creative cost. Would an AI-assisted game have the same heart, the same meticulously crafted soul, as Red Dead Redemption 2? That's a debate the entire industry will be having over the next decade. So, will we ever see a Red Dead Redemption 3? Despite the terrifying timeline, the answer is almost certainly yes. From a purely financial standpoint, you do not shelve a franchise that sells over 61 million copies. The brand is too strong, the fan base too dedicated. The real takeaway here is not that the game is cancelled, but that our expectations as players must fundamentally change. The era of getting a new Rockstar masterpiece every few years is over. The new reality is likely one flagship title per console generation. The question is no longer if, but how long are you willing to wait? But that's my analysis. Now I want to hear from you. Is a 15 or 17-year wait for Red Dead Redemption 3 simply too long for you to stay invested? And more importantly, what story would you even want them to tell? Are you Team Young Dutch, Team Jack Marston, or do you want a completely fresh start? Let me know your perfect RDR 3 pitch down in the comments below. I read as many as I can. If you enjoyed this deep dive and want more analysis on the biggest stories in gaming, consider subscribing to the channel. It's the best way to support what we do here. Thanks for watching.